Hello, my friends. It's March 19th, 2018, and it's time for today's big story. A Way Out is coming to PS4 and Xbox One later this week. It's a local or online co-op experience. The whole game is co-op, so even if you're, no matter what, you're seeing a split screen when you play because it's all about the cooperation between the two characters. If you didn't hear about this game when it was originally announced, you probably heard about it when the Game Awards happened not that long ago because one of the developers kind of lost his mind a little bit.
Look, this is kind of insane. Like, we're here, we're celebrating this. Look, the Oscars should fuck themselves up. This is the shit. I'm telling you, this is the real shit. Okay, can you swear here? Can you swear? Okay. Fuck the Oscars, you know? Fuck the Oscars! Fuck you! I'm telling you! This is bullshit!
You know what they say, any press is good press, so yeah, that just raised the profile of the game, and now it's coming out this week. But why are we talking about it here? Well, the developer Hazelight was doing a Reddit AMA about the game, and somebody asked why the title isn't coming to Switch. And the developer actually responded, and they have two reasons. One's a perfectly understandable reason, and one makes no sense. I'm going to read you the whole response from Hazelight's Lucas DeVries on why the game isn't coming to Switch. As for Switch, we're definitely fans of the console over here, but there were some factors preventing us from doing a Switch release. It came out quite late in our development cycle, and we've been very busy spending all our time getting the game to the highest quality we could make it. Also, since both players require their own camera control, it would mean that you would be forced to buy an extra Pro controller to even play the game, which seems like it would be a little unfair to the concept of the Switch. It would have been quite an effort to make an automatic camera system to make single Joy-Con play work. A Way Out has been in development for a number of years, so it completely makes sense that when the Switch was announced, the game was already deep into development, so they couldn't just say, let's add on Switch, because that would have delayed the game in general, and since the game's being published by EA, I would imagine they're not going to be up for that discussion. So that reason, I totally get. Now, the controller reason doesn't make any sense to me. Like I said, this is a local or online co-op game, but it's all about the co-op experience. So whether you're playing it on Xbox One or PS4, a second controller is going to be needed if you're doing local co-op. So you'll have to have another PS4 controller or an Xbox One controller. Now, obviously, if you're playing online, each person has one controller. They don't need another controller. So I don't understand it at all. It's not like... It's almost like he's saying, well, because the Switch lets you slide off the Joy-Cons and some games use one Joy-Con, we need to make sure our game uses one Joy-Con, and that doesn't make any sense. So... it's like they're saying if you were playing on the TV, they'd want you to split the Joy-Cons and play with just one Joy-Con. It doesn't have to be like that because, like I said, on PS4 and Xbox One, if you're doing local co-op, you have to have another controller. So if you're going to play local co-op on the Switch version, you would just buy another controller. Like, he acts like it's a requirement on Switch that isn't required on other versions. I don't know how you would play, unless you're playing online, which you could still do on the Switch version. I don't know how you're doing local multiplayer without buying another controller, so it's not something specific to the Switch. Gameplay for Fun over on Go Nintendo says, first part, understandable. Second, huh? Yeah, that's what I feel. It makes me angry. Like, it's such a silly response. These are game developers. They make games. They make these amazing things that we get to play and interact with, but then they're like, it's not coming to Switch because you need a second controller, and that goes against what the Switch has. So, I understand the desire to make a game, or let's say to make A Way Out for Switch where you could separate the Joy-Cons and just pass it off to your buddy. I get that that's an important concept on Switch, but not all games do that. Not all games support single Joy-Con play for their co-op or local multiplayer, whatever it may be, experience. It doesn't have to be that way. So I don't understand why they're thinking that their game needs to work like that. And I've seen people discussing ways that it could work. You could do motion controls for camera. Now, obviously, a lot of people would think that a second control stick would make a lot more sense or would be easier, and I tend to agree with that, but I don't think using motion controls for camera is bad by any means because I play games like that. I play games like Splatoon 2 where I'm using motion controls to aim and things like that, so it's certainly not impossible. If they just would have stayed with the first part of the statement, I would have been like, that makes total sense, I understand guys, but they threw that second one in there. I'm like, God, I can't wrap my head around it in any way. And we've seen a couple other developers over the last year or so say something similar like that, so blame the controller like that, and they're putting in restrictions where there are none. Again, Like I said, PS4, Xbox One, you have to have a second controller if you want local multiplayer. If you want to do local multiplayer on a Switch version, you would need a second controller. Makes sense for all versions. Alright, my friends, that's today's big story from March 19th, 2018. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. It's very much appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow for whatever tomorrow's big story is, and I sure hope you'll join me to check it out. So until then, have a lovely day and a lovely evening, and I'll see you in a few short hours. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at Twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at Instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.